Welcome everyone to the second collaboration between the Malaysian Institute of Art, Public Lecture Series, and Concrete Matters, which is with Joyee here. Today we're going to be discussing about ecology and sustainability, and we have two wonderful guests here today, Ewe Jin Low and Shean. Lee, is that your surname? Yeah.
Yes.
Just double checking. And today we're going to be talking about sustainability in the built environment, which often relies on parameters, indexes, and green building awards. The stake of architecture within such conversations has shifted towards mechanical engineering solutions and often relying on ticking boxes. So how can we begin to subvert the conversation and bring new interpretations of sustainability to the center of the anthropocentric conversation? Today we have two wonderful speakers, and Ewe Jin Low here is a bamboo advocate and an architect with over 30 years of building experience. And Shean here is a REBA-nominated project, going to present her REBA-nominated project, which is her thesis project titled, how do I say this word properly? Paccioli? Paccioli.
Yeah.
Sounds like a spaghetti name though.
Right? Is it like an Italian term?
Yeah, that's the place of, that's one of the town in Italy.
Oh, in Italy.
Yeah.
We're excited to learn about Italy. Biofarm, experimenting with self-sustaining ecological systems in agriculture. So without further ado, I think we can begin the session with Ewe Jin first. Yeah? So whenever you're ready, Ewe Jin, please go ahead and let's get started.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for having me. I have a lot of slides to show, so I'm not going to sort of waste too much time. It'll be quite a lot of visual material, and time is limited. So I'm going to start straight away, okay?
Yep.
And then we have more time for questions later.
You may introduce yourself a bit in the front if you want to. So.
I'm going to keep going so that I think, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to introduce myself as
I think you're not sharing your slides. Right?
Start again.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I've had quite a bit of experience generally in the more conventional work in architecture, quite a lot of it. And my bamboo design journey started almost 6 years ago. So not long, but for bamboo is quite long in general. So let me just go through this talk. When we think of bamboo buildings, we think about really buildings that don't last long. It's almost like poor man's timber, right? And people think of bamboo as, my grandfather's hut in the paddy fields that within 2 years will be rotten and dilapidated, So it shouldn't be that way. And I think attitude towards bamboo is changing a lot, and bamboo shouldn't be this hut that you see, but can be something like this where it's reinterpreted, it lasts longer than what it should, and it's beautiful. So if you think about the Empire State Tower, right? This is level 92, building in steel many years ago, many years ago, when steel was just emerging and really becoming popular. And just look back at bamboo and think about bamboo just coming up in the last 12 years, if you like, around the world, as a material that's coming up and with so many advantages, right, which I'll go through. And contextually, a little bamboo kampong house, starting up through the ages. And then you look at now timber. Timber is like, we can build 30 stories without flinching, right, in timber. And steel, the Eiffel Tower is like very, very much a few hundred years ago, right? This is happening, but bamboo is just starting. So this is to get the context for you guys to say timber is really way ahead. Steel is also way ahead, and timber and bamboo is just coming out, just growing out its first shoots. It's probably got very few codes of practice, very few guidebooks. Try and look for a bamboo book in any bookshop. It's very hard to find. So it is an emergent or re-emergent material. Okay. A bit about bamboo in terms of what it is generally in the vegetable kingdom. It is actually not a tree, but it's a grass, right? Bamboo is a woody grass. There are about 1,500 species of bamboo around the world, and 120 are herbaceous, and quite a lot of it is woody, which means that it can be used for timber. Yeah, and some bamboos are short, 30 cm, and others are obviously like 30 meters high, which is 100 feet. That's quite high. So a bit about bamboo. This is a culm or a pole. So we call a pole of bamboo a culm. And when it's grouped together as a family, it's called a clump. Okay. There are two types of bamboo. There's clumping bamboo, which is bamboo that grows close together, and running bamboo, which goes wild. It goes under the ground, goes up even 20 feet away and comes up. So there are two types. And a bit more about bamboo as a bamboo shoot. And these are protective sleeves of the bamboo at the nodes. So I'm just trying to go through quite a lot of information for you guys in a short time, but never mind, let's go. When you cut through a cross-section of bamboo, you see these vascular bundles. They grow tighter or more dense towards the edge of the actual pole, right? On the outer edge is very dense all around here, which gives it its hardness. And there's a silica layer on the skin itself, which protects the bamboo. You can see these vascular bundles here. And then this is the silica layer, right? A bit about the composition of bamboo. Just going back a bit now. So bamboo, there are roots called rhizomes. This is the bottom part and the middle part. So these two parts are where the bamboo is cut to use for construction. The top part is not so much, right? And in between, we call them nodes. These are nodes, bamboo nodes. And there's a little diaphragm there at each node. And really, the next part of the talk is really to go through and elaborate about why am I coming into bamboo of all materials, right? Bamboo is quite a worthy substitute for steel and for timber, not in all applications, but in some applications. It is pretty good substitute. And I often ask students, how can we use bamboo in steel or timber applications, right? Think of that. Bamboo sequesters more carbon, grabs more carbon, and outputs more oxygen, kilogram for kilogram, when you compare it with timber, right? It really grabs, it's a good carbon store. It creates industry, creates business, and uplifts rural and non-urban areas, meaning from harvesting, from growing, harvesting, from treating bamboo, from workers specializing in building in bamboo. It really uplifts poverty in many areas that I've seen as well. Bamboo restores land and reduces erosion through its root system. It grows very well in river valleys as well, and holds the soil, prevents collapse into the river. It is relatively lightweight. Try doing this with a steel pole, right? You cannot do that. And bamboo is very good, very workable, and 2 men can actually build a big building without the use of cranes and machinery. Of course, bamboo is fast growing, right? It grows 1 meter a day, some species, and within 1 or 2 months is actually already in its full height, and then it starts thickening up and getting stronger. It's got a very, very fast growth rate and is regenerative. Of course, it is versatile, right? It's got many, many uses, as you can see, and every part of it, like the coconut tree, right? Every part of it can be used. It is edible and tasty. For those of you who have tried bamboo shoots, you know, right? Chicken curry bamboo shoot is amazing. Tastes really good. That's about enough for why bamboo, and I'm going to also go through why not bamboo. Sometimes you've got to be careful when you use bamboo, right? Because bamboo is natural, like timber here. Bamboo also can deteriorate, as timber can, if you don't design and detail it and preserve it carefully. It can deteriorate. It can rot, as you can see. It can be eaten by beetles and insects, right? They bore in and they eat the insides of the bamboo, and within a year or 2, your bamboo building can collapse if you're not careful. So your bamboo needs to be treated. It cannot be used, cut green, and then onto buildings. No, it has to be treated. It is attacked by fungus as well. If you don't treat it or coat it, it can turn out quite bad, and you know, your building or your installation can look really yucky. It can crack or it can shrink. It also can scratch. So you have to treat bamboo carefully. And as a component, a building component, it is not always straight. It twists and it turns. So think about that when you design with bamboo. Sometimes when you harvest too early or you harvest wrongly, it doesn't also have the right strength to build, right? To be built. So these are the precautions one has to take with bamboo, so that you're aware. When you design with bamboo, you need to have good preventive design, meaning you have to keep the water off the bamboo, you have to keep the sun off the bamboo, having a wide brimmed hat, and you have to keep bamboo off the ground, right? Off water, meaning you have platform shoes, right? Lift the bamboo up, don't let the bamboo get wet. These are basic principles of design for bamboo buildings, which I do in my course, in my design course. And if you do it right, you will get nice bamboo that's protected, and beautifully coated, and can last a lifetime, right? If you do it wrongly, this is what happens. You get insects eating it, you get fungus, and it's gonna rot. So much for that in terms of bamboo detailing and design. Now, I'm going to spend some time just going through a bit of my bamboo journey. It started in Bali. I joined a company called Ibuku. They are pretty prominent bamboo design and production company. This is our office here on the right. It's got no walls, no cars in the car park, only buffaloes. So it's pretty good. I joined as lead architect and had a really good experience for 3.5 to 4 years working with them, designing schools, designing luxury houses from bamboo. These are classrooms in the Green School. Just going through all the buildings that I was involved in. This is a science lab, all in bamboo, almost 100% bamboo. I had the opportunity of sending workers overseas to, this one is in Africa, right, to build in bamboo. And this is in the Maldives as well. Great experience of shipping bamboo and building it. May not be that sustainable, but we calculated that actually, if it actually is sustainable, even though you have to ship it all across, halfway around the world. So part of my bamboo journey is this, trying to reduce, right? Trying to not waste, trying to be more sustainable. And yeah, I started in Bali like this. I ended up arriving with my socks, shoes, and long pants. But after 5 years, I'm just running around with slippers. Almost really down to basics, basically, I think. And it's affected me a lot positively, learning about sustainability and carbon, many things that you don't really think too much when you're in the run in conventional practice. I built our own house in Bali, which is good experience. We still have it, and someone is taking care of it there, but we stayed here for 2 years. It's open, it's got no walls. We run a fan, we don't have an aircon. It's a very cooling house. You can see it's a very permeable house. And next to that house, we also built a tree house. Again, no walls and overlooking a river, which is below somewhere there. A very simple building from the offcuts of the house. In my work after leaving Ibuku, I left Ibuku now, I think 2.5 years, working on resorts, bamboo resorts in the Philippines, some work in Fiji on a marina resort as well, in bamboo, which is interesting. Philippines, again, an eco park, working with another architect. Some resorts in Bali, small bamboo resorts. A restaurant in Medan, which is now going through detailed design. The same building. And I teach. I began to teach in Bamboo U, quite a prominent bamboo learning institute now. After 5 years, it's grown a lot. And I still help to facilitate there. Also involved in teaching in some universities here and there. And yeah, as Nicholas mentioned earlier, I went to the Clef Festival, was invited to build this pavilion in 5 days. It's quite a challenge, but we built it with volunteers and with Balinese workers that I brought over with me from Bali. And yeah, it's up there at APW in Bangsa. If you're going for coffee, you can see it there, built. Just some of my channels, Instagram, 2 Instagram channels, and a blog, Better Bamboo Buildings. If you want to come and visit, it'd be great. Read more bamboo articles. A bit more about Malaysia now. Bits and pieces. I think after the Clef, I was involved more in Malaysia, in projects in Malaysia. This is for a master plan for a jungle school in Sabah. Quite interesting. big piece of land, and we produced a master plan for them. We started looking at bamboo and a pop-up hut to do, which they started, but everything sort of slowed down after COVID. This is in Tambunan, near Kota Kinabalu. Talking to the villagers, checking out the bamboo as well. So that was quite an interesting process. Been involved with EPIC as well. Some of you will know EPIC. Still working with them on trying to get bamboo into their projects, especially some of the Orang Asli houses. I'm very interested to do that, to find avenues for bamboo to get into projects like theirs in EPIC. Looking at building a bridge in Keramat. This is one of the designs that the current design for the bridge for the moment. It's a 30-meter span. So yeah, that's it generally. I hope it's not too short or long. How long did I take?
About
20 minutes?
20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, short and sweet.
Thank you, Eugene.
No props.
Yeah. Yeah, we have some questions in the chat, so maybe we can start immediately start our Q&A. So thank you so much for Eugene for the sharing. I think the first question would be, I think, from Nicholas, and also we talked about this last time during our pre-run session. So you mentioned about you started your bamboo journey sort of after Ibuku in Bali, the encounter in Ibuku. But before that, I think your background is still in a lot of housing, and especially in overseas. So how does that career change started or initiated?
I just I applied for a job. I saw a job advertised and applied for it. Although I wasn't really in a position to apply, I was already thinking about how can I retire in 6-7 years time.
Okay.
But I applied for it. The job was calling me. I don't know why, but I applied for it. And after many interviews, after 6 interviews and a trip there, I decided to join them. Even the staff interviewed me. My staff interviewed me before I joined. It was a tough process to get selected, but yeah, good job I did. I think it took me to a different level.
I see. Was it because
it changed me a lot.
Sorry?
Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was... Oh, Nicholas, you want to add on something to the question? I might maybe ask wrongly.
No, more or less. I mean, like what Eugene said, you were looking for retirement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering why the career shift.
They somehow got you embarked on another journey instead of retirement, can I say so?
Yeah, it sort of brought me to a different level and then sort of restarted, refired me into another sort of path. It's almost like someone giving you, if you are a violin player or whatever, someone gives you a new violin or a new instrument, and then you're starting again, but you have that skill already through many years of practice, right? I wish I had, but someone is like saying, wow, this is a new material. Here you are. Right? It's going to help a lot of people. It's going to help the world in many, many ways. It's not happened fully yet, but it's going to happen. Why don't you become part of the journey? Wow, I accepted it. And it is really interesting because I still keep learning every day. There's so much to learn and so much to contribute to the field. And from my courses now, I can see that people that attend will keep also helping develop this bamboo crusade, right? As it grows. So yeah, it's interesting.
Speaking of your courses, so also for everyone's information, I think Better Bamboo's Building are currently carrying out a course, online course, carrying out a few months. Am I right? That's the...
Yeah, this is now the second course. The second course is starting in next week, right? There's going to be a course every 3 months. The course is like 8 modules, 8 weekly modules. It's really more for designers, architects, designers, and people involved in buildings. Yeah. So really giving you an immersion of how to use bamboo in buildings.
And all these
So it's more
participants-
specialist in a sense and more advanced.
I'm just wondering, like the participants, I remember you said they are younger crowds and they are also practicing crowds. Am I right?
I'm one
Yeah,
of the
the
participants.
audience and the participants are, they sort of range from graduates to early practitioners, those who have experience, started working for 3 to 5 years. That is my main audience, and the participants reflect that as well. People who are sort of beginning in their careers. Some are also experienced and retired people who still want to be involved and want to advocate for bamboo. The artists, their project managers that come in, their entrepreneurs also wanting to do different types, but generally more in the building design sector.
I see.
There are even engineers as well, sculptors. Yeah, a wide range.
Wow, wide range. That's cool. I mean, the reason why I asked that is because I think younger designer nowadays will use a lot of computational design software to help them to design. So for example, like parametrics. So some of your design that you have shown just now, this is my question. Are they generated using some of this software, or they are craft based on traditional methods? Because some of them, they are not in the traditional form. That's what I found.
So we've tried, in the course you get to do bamboo modeling. So you can do it through 3D, as in digital, or you can do it by hand, right? And nobody does it digital because the feel is totally out for bamboo, right? When you work with bamboo, you need to do more physical modeling. If you go through the actual process, which some of you might one day, you'll find that your design actually morphs and runs as you model, because you're modeling with the same material. Yeah, the feel is there straight away. Whereas if you're talking about a steel or a concrete building, you don't have that feel. You only have calculations to back it up. It's very, very different. With bamboo models, you can press it, you can push it, you can twist it, you can change it as you go along. Some of the models which I'm working on, maybe you can see.
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
I'm working on them as I design. I'm actually changing the models. I don't even draw nowadays. I just draw when I start conceptualizing. After that, all the drawings are thrown away. Right? I just like to play with the hands. And the advantage of it is when you present to the client, you don't even show them the drawings. Right? When you show them the model, they go, "Oh wow!" They really can see it. I get it. Right? Because the bones are actually shown. Whereas in a concrete or steel building, you don't see much of the bones of the building. You see layers and layers that are already compiled, and you get this very multi-layered thing happening. Maybe sometimes you only see the surface or the shape. Yeah.
That's nice. Do you mind show us again the model behind? Just now you were trying to
I'll bring it. Yeah. Some of this is not built yet, but yeah, these are things I have fun with. Right.
These are actual bamboo.
These are bamboo sticks. These are cocktail sticks or satay sticks, if you like. I've got no supplies here in Melbourne. Most of my bamboo sticks are in Bali, are all handmade. But here I have to buy.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that brings
the people in
to...
the course, yeah, they cannot make their own bamboo. So I have to then pivot to say, let's start making bamboo with bamboo you can buy, right? From supermarkets, from sushi mats that you take off all the bamboo, and you use that to make models. So I've used that so that the students can also see that it can be done that way, instead of, wow, you got so nice, you have your own bamboo made for you in Bali, right? So no, not that.
I see. But speaking of that, that will bring to the next question is how wide in terms of the species of the bamboo, because you mentioned there's actually bamboo supplies in Australia over there, because like most of your projects are in Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia. How about is bamboo abundant in anywhere else? Or is the material very hard to
Bamboo,
get by?
it can be, but where you guys are in Thailand, Philippines, Malaysia, Laos, Myanmar, right? Within the tropical zone, right? Bamboo thrives. The only issue is you need infrastructure for bamboo. Malaysia is like, I would say, about 5 to 8 years backwards compared to other countries in bamboo. Not enough treatment facilities, not enough bamboo being promoted, grown, but it's starting. There are a few factions that are starting up, and I think you'll start seeing bamboo in the next 2 to 3 years, more bamboo buildings being emerging. Places like Indonesia are well ahead, 5 years, 6 years, maybe more ahead of Malaysia. Thailand as well, many buildings in both these countries. Vietnam. You go to Bali, a bamboo building is commonplace, right? You go to a cafe, usually bamboo. Whereas in Malaysia, bamboo is like, oh, tak boleh ni.
I wonder what is the reason so though, because like they are our adjacent countries and above and below, why we don't recognize its potential as early as that.
So it's just a matter of time when it all tweaks and someone will say, yeah, we better have a bamboo building. I hope I'll be one of the first to actually get a bamboo building into Malaysia, a major one. So that's what I'm gunning for.
That would be great.
Yeah, you need examples for people to see and then eventually get inspired.
Like we mentioned about some of the designers in Malaysia, like Elena Jamil or Wendy Teo, they're actually experimenting with bamboos already, or maybe anyone else way earlier.
Yeah, there are a few others here and there, but they're not really like fully. It's not what they've done is not a full bamboo building, right?
Correct.
Parts and bits and pieces. So we're just waiting for a major bamboo building to come up in Malaysia, which will be soon. In the next 3 years, you'll see it.
Do you think it's possible to build an entire high tower using just bamboo?
Yes, that's one of my visions, to actually build at least, I would say, 10 stories, 12 stories from bamboo. There's already Ibuku is built, we call it, or they call it, 5.5-story bamboo mansion, right, in Bali.
I see.
Look up Sharma Springs. Sharma, Sharma. Sharma Springs is a 2-point-something million US dollar house for an American IT wealthy guy. I work on some of it towards the end and also part of the renovations. It's a nice building. I've stayed in it as well. It is what bamboo can become, the luxury end of bamboo. And there are two ends to it, right? Luxury top end and then the basic ground level bamboo, where we're talking about an orang asli house or a pod that a backpacker can go and enjoy. So those two ends I've been involved in as well, and there's so much prospect that bamboo has. And I'm also actually currently writing a book on bamboo, which will be published in Malaysia in October this year. We are sort of on the way. I've seen some of the layouts and it's good. So yeah, the book is coming out in October.
Which publisher?
It's called Atelier International. I don't know if you've heard of they are actually launching something in Japan on Sunday.
Yes. Yes.
right? Terrace transformation, I think it's called. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
they
looking
are
forward.
publishing. Yeah. So, but it's still under wraps, so don't tell anyone.
Thank you,
Yeah, it's not
Eugene,
public. It's not publicized yet. Yeah.
for answering the question. So right now I'm gonna call on Ahmad Akif Khairuddin. Are you there? So he asked the question. Hello.
Hmm.
Hi.
Hi. Yep.
Hi,
Can
Ewe
go
Jin
ahead.
Low. Sorry. I just want to ask because I attended your talk with Cockin Studios a few weeks back, but
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to ask. But actually I've been conversing with you on email about the Orang Asli project, but I just wanted to ask,
Okay.
how big is the impact of using bamboo, like especially with project costs? You have extensive works with Epic Homes and a lot of other NGOs, especially with the Sabah project. Is, does it have a big impact on the project cost?
Does what have a big impact?
The usage of bamboo on the project cost. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, as compared to other building material, you were saying?
Yes, in comparison with other building materials.
Okay. I cannot answer yes or no directly, but I can say that if you have the infrastructure in place to do the bamboo, right? In other words, to grow, to harvest, and to treat it, then the costs are equivalent or sometimes can be less than other conventional materials. If you don't have any infrastructure and you're starting from zero, it is quite a tough journey to get bamboo going, right? In my book, some of these guys who are pioneers and starting off in very remote areas with zero infrastructure, right? They cut their own bamboo, they treat their own bamboo, bring in workers from wherever and force in to build a bamboo building. It will not be cheap in terms of man hours or dollars, right? It can be a lot of investment, a lot of sacrifice to get the first one done. But once you've done that as a pioneer, then it starts it off. It's always like that. Yeah, especially in an area where there's no bamboo. If you're going to Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, it's easy. It's like going to a hardware shop and buying some plywood in Malaysia. But in Malaysia, you cannot buy bamboo from the hardware shop, right? No way, not yet. Whereas in Indonesia, I can go on my bike, my motorbike, 5 minutes away, I can order bamboo and it comes in a lorry the next day. So it's all about infrastructure, good treatment, and workers. Yeah. And if it's Malaysia, it's harder. So in Malaysia, I'm looking at Orang Asli project. The first few bamboo buildings to be built will kick it off. And then you will start this thing where the Orang Asli themselves will start treating the bamboo, producing it, selling it, making a business, and then you'll keep going. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, thanks. That last part was the part I was really interested in, the community engagement throughout the whole process of construction. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you need to learn. Yeah, if you really want to be involved, you need to learn more about how to work with bamboo, right? To grow it, to harvest it, to treat it, how to design with it, and to construct it. It cannot be done overnight, but it's a process. And you got to be fanatical enough to jump in and do it. That's what I would say.
Fanatical is a wonderful word to kind of describe this pursuit.
Do you mind if I jump in with a question related to that discussion?
Go for it, Haziq.
I'm just wondering whether the bamboo is kind of like standardized in a way, because bamboo, it's a grown material, right? So it's not exactly, it's going to bend in some ways, it's going to have kinks. So is there like a regular, like in the places you mentioned, like Indonesia, where you just order bamboo, is that kind of standardized? Do they polish it? Do they clean it? Or
Yeah, it's hard at this stage to get standard bamboo. Each country is slightly different because the bamboo is different, right? If you go to Vietnam, which is further up north, the bamboo is smaller, and the actual hole in bamboo, sometimes there's no hole. It becomes like rattan. So you can imagine that. And if you go to Indonesia, the bamboo is bigger and the hole is larger. The walls are thick. So from both ends, you have different ways. And how do you build with this different bamboo, right? You still can build, but you need to know how to build with thinner but stronger bamboo, thicker but wider like bamboo. So each country has actually developed its own way of building it. In Vietnam, they have made joined bamboo together, a tree of the bamboo, and bundled it together to get its strength, right? Then they can curve it, and then it sort of develops its own style of curved architecture. In Indonesia, because they have the oomph of the bamboo is big and tall, they can use it like timber, right? Same like in South America, the Gua bamboo is like the strongest bamboo in the world, and they can almost use it like a tree trunk.
Wow.
So you need to know your bamboo. If your bamboo is not strong enough, you can bundle it and make it have strength. So you cannot really standardize per country. It's really per type of bamboo species that is grown in the area that you want to construct, because you don't want to ship it too far as well.
and I guess that means then that a design that you do for Indonesia, Bali, is not going to be so much applicable for KL, because then you'd have to reiterate it based on what you have.
Almost. Like I get inquiries from different parts of the world. Today I got someone in Mexico wanting to build something, right? The first thing I ask is, what bamboo is near your site? Not what bamboo is in your country, what bamboo is near your site?
Right.
And are there any workers? I got an inquiry from Colombia itself, Gua. Then I can say, look, good, Gua, you can do all these things. Even in Sabah, I have to go myself to look at what bamboo is there, right? And see how it can be treated before I can start designing.
Right.
So you need to know what's available before we start trying to draw designs for it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have that kind of help, ask for it, right? There are many people around, even in Malaysia or around the world, that there's enough bamboo people now to offer that kind of advice.
Yeah.
To do it.
I do love
right?
that term, bamboo
Almost
people.
That's right. If you're not sure, write to me. I will direct you wherever.
Wow, private tutor.
When you
Okay.
advocate for something, you have to support. You cannot just stand aside and try and look pretty, because it doesn't work, right?
Yes. Yeah, that reminds me of one of the quote that you mentioned, like the bamboo master. I mean, people, we can build. I mean, we can design, we can build, but if you didn't stay in one of them, you cannot really claim that you know that material well.
Yeah. You can, even some of these well-known architects, right? These big guns, they're not even experienced the buildings that they design for, right? You really need to know the taste and live in a bamboo building before you can actually say that you can confidently design one.
Thank you.
A lot of people design it without doing that, and then learn from it, and the clients pay for their mistakes.
Okay, thank you, Haziq. How about
Thanks,
Queenie?
Eugene.
Queenie, you have something to add on to Haziq's questions, right? You want to ask?
Yeah, I was wondering, because when we look at bamboo architecture, it is mostly applied in like singular buildings, be it like a resort or educational institution or a public building, right? Do you see the possibility of it being applied in mass housing, or is it too difficult because of its irregularity?
It is difficult to stack bamboo, right? Meaning stacking up and getting replicable or mass buildings, if you like. It's difficult for many reasons. We talk about fire, we talk about noise transmission, We don't even start thinking about non-uniformity yet. Bamboo is good, yes, for individual buildings, but I think it really depends on the cost and the availability of other materials. When steel becomes too expensive, when timber, you cannot even look 2 kilometers, you cannot even see a tree, that's when bamboo can come in and substitute it, right? When materials become more scarce and expensive. I think combining bamboo with other things will work in mass housing or mass buildings. Things like CLT and mass timber is now getting in very, very strong.
Yeah.
And I think bamboo, engineered bamboo, if you look at engineered bamboo as a field, that's coming up very, very quickly together with timber, right? CLT, cross-laminated timber and other types of timber. And eventually these two will combine. And then you get mass buildings from these components with different materials. That's how I see it developing, and bamboo will be in there. It's already in there through the floors and cladding, but not too structural yet. Eventually it will be when laminated bamboo becomes more strong, which it will do. It is a big field, engineering bamboo. Engineered bamboo is a big field that's going to rise as well.
Because that is the strength of bamboo, it's in the structural properties, isn't it? So to not make use of that is kind of a waste.
That's right. You will know. You need to know how to tap the right parts of bamboo's properties. I think that's how I would say it. Not necessarily strong in many areas as a culm, but when you take it as a material and all its as strips, it can be made into many things.
I think to lead on
And if
to
you're layering, yeah, go.
Just to lead on to that question, I think there are two people who are interested, or a few people who are interested in the joinery, or you have any resources that you can direct for them to look at about the technicalities on the joinery. There was one question from William asking about the expansion and the contraction properties of bamboo, and then one from Tong Yang Kit about just detailing joints. I think that can kind of weave into the current conversation right now as well.
And I think also Guma also asked about whether borax is one of the
treatment.
The treatment, yeah.
Some technical questions
I'll
here.
answer the treatment one first. Borax and boric acid, if you look up online, that is the best treatment. A combination of borax and boric acid is one of the best treatments for bamboo, right? It's not that toxic. It's almost like your common table salt kind of toxicity. So that's good. Most construction bamboo is treated that way nowadays around the world. A combination of borax and boric acid. You can get the actual formulas online quite easily. You can actually buy it now ready, and you can mix it with water and you can treat it. That's one. Joints in bamboo, yeah, that's a very specialist subject. I teach that, and there's one whole module full of it. It's very hard to explain in 3 sentences about joints, but it is not, put it that way, bamboo cannot be, you don't force bamboo to be joined like steel or timber. It doesn't work. Let bamboo show you how it can be joined. I think that's what I would say, because bamboo is like a pipe. It's hollow, and you're joining a pipe horizontally to a vertical pipe. How do you do it? About it, there are 15 ways to do it, so that the whole thing can still stand up. Too long to explain, yeah. But I would say, what I would say is, don't force detailing into bamboo. Let bamboo lead you into how to detail it. That's how I would answer that.
Thank you for that.
The other one.
Oh no, I think that covers some of it. Unless William, do you want to ask any further questions about it? About like the specific property of expansion and contraction, I guess.
Yeah, and how do you design the tolerance into it?
Okay, from my experience, bamboo buildings, there's a lot of tolerance. You need a lot of tolerance for bamboo buildings because they are not dimensionally accurate. Purely from the fact that bamboo is not straight, bamboo is very natural and organic. Don't expect it to be timber or steel. Don't expect when you draw on your drawings 3 meters grid line to grid line, you're going to get that on site. It's almost impossible, right? So how do you design such that if you want to fit a door in, how do you make sure that your door can fit in?
Yeah.
So learn that, yeah, life is uncertain. So is bamboo architecture. But people make it succeed. How? Yeah, through experience, through learning.
Yeah, I think those are really great tips. And also, I think that also further leads on to another question. I think Queenie asked about the agency, or rather the act of model making, as a way to kind of test that sort of like the joinery, and perhaps even this kind of needing to give a lot of space for the naturalness of the bamboo. Is that what you're asking, Queenie, as well? The crucial kind of exploration process of model making. Do you have anything else to add on?
There's a lot online that one can find out about bamboo model making now. Just Google that. It's enough to give you quite a bit of general knowledge and also specific knowledge on it as a subject. If you want to learn more, then yeah, look for a course, join and make your own bamboo models. Start by doing that and you'll get a feel for it.
Yeah, I'm curious about
more,
sorry. Yeah, I'm curious about the process of teaching online, right? Because you mentioned that it's very important to have this hands-on experience, but then the workshop is conducted online during this pandemic. So I'm curious how that feeling gets transferred across this virtual.
Well, for our workshop and many others, I would expect you get an assignment. Let's say, can you make an animal, right? Spend 2 hours. These are the materials you have, make an animal. And you learn from your own process, right? And the next step will be, okay, let's design a little weekend pod for 2 people. And then you make it, right? Draw it, you make it. And from your making and from us, after you have submitted it and commenting on it, you go through this process. And in that process, after you finish the course, you'll probably be like me, right? You got about 6 models already made. And then you grow. You grow through that. You don't make 3 models and say, I'm already a bamboo architect, I'm an expert. No. You need to layer, and build up your knowledge from bamboo. Make some mistakes and grow.
I feel like it's a kind of intimate process in a way that you have to sort of self-explore the material yourself, and then you only get a bit of input from the technical input from the specialist. So
it is quite exciting for those that want to do it, but you know, if you want to be too technical and learn everything from a book, with steel and timber you can. There are hundreds and thousands of books on it, but with bamboo there are not many. It's like 10 good books on bamboo in the world, right? And yeah, this is a good field to go in and explore and contribute and grow this sector. That's how I see it as an advocate. So much, especially for your generation, for you guys, is good, even if you're not in it, but it's good to know about it and be aware of what's happening, because it's going to come in and have some influence on the general construction sector.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that is a very good conclusion. So whoever is still interested to ask Eugene any question, you may ask in the chat and maybe he'll respond in the chat, or write him an email after this event. So I think we are short of time. We might have to move on to the second speaker. So thank you, Eugene, so much again for presenting for us and answering our question. It's very insightful. Thank you.
Thank you. You can reach me at Instagram or Facebook,
Yeah.
no problems. I can answer them, answer your questions.
I think we were very looking forward to your new book launch and also the upcoming course. So whoever interested, is there any spots left still for the upcoming one, 14th of April?
Join the July one. April one is nearly full. Maybe one or two more, but almost full. I'd say it's full.
So popular. All right.
July, next one is in July.
Yeah. So stay tuned for July 1, guys. Go sign out and find out more on betterbamboobuildings.com. Wow, I can become advertiser.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Without further ado, you guys can grab some water and go to the toilet if you want to. We will start our second speaker's session in 1 minute. Can everyone go to the toilet in 1 minute?
About 5 minutes. Let's give it until 8:10.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, Eugene, if you're interested, you can drop your email in the group chat. And then since the students has a lot of questions for your technicalities.
Sure, I will.
Or anyone want to ask, since we have a 5 minutes break time, we'll resume at 8:10. Guma, you want to ask something?
Yeah. Hi, Eugene. I actually know the people who's working on Coats, Mervyn and Joyce.
Oh, very good.
Yes, I was working with them last time. So before I was a freelance carpenter last time, and I was working with them.
That's
so now
cool.
I'm doing a study on bamboo as well myself. So if you don't mind me sharing,
Wow.
I actually did a pavilion. KL Airport has gotten interest on building it. I hope they're gonna build it. So this is my bamboo model.
Wow, suddenly live crit session there. Okay, let's go. Let's do.
Okay.
So yeah, so the concept is about
Okay. What I suggest.
Yeah. Sure.
What I suggest, Guma, you email me to contact, and then we can talk a bit more about your pavilion offline.
Okay. Cool.
If
No,
you
we are
need
interested to know.
advice or anything.
Yeah.
Show us now. Show us the concept now. Can I see again? Can we see again?
Sorry?
Joyee putting on lecturer hat.
Yes. Can we look at your model again?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What is this?
It's actually the concept is to have the essence of Borneo musical instruments. So over here you can see I'm playing with wind and rain. So over here there's like a bamboo. It's actually supposed to be holes, but it's a bit hard to do holes with this one. So when the wind goes through, it will create some sound.
Oh.
And then here there's actually gonna be leather. So when the wind comes down, it will produce sound as well.
I
Yeah,
see.
and over here is like a sitting area where the people can sit, and underneath here people can play their instruments.
This is a pavilion, is it?
It's a pavilion, yeah.
I see. And this model is using satay stick or real bamboo?
Oh, okay. Hang on. Let me check.
Oh, he's gonna bring in the bamboo now.
Wow.
When he mentioned about the sound, I can see
I don't
your
know.
face
I
thinking.
bought this in the stationery store. I'm not sure if it's bamboo.
Yeah, it's bamboo that's made in China.
Yeah.
Like processed bamboo, right?
Yeah. So what I did is I boil water and I put them and then I blend it.
Yeah, good.
Plus 1
Well,
point.
reach out to me. Reach out to me on email if you want. And then we can continue.
Great, that'd be great. Yeah, you can create my work and comment on it.
He want you to join the course, lah, Guma.
No, not at all. Be good if you want to. I have scholarship places that you can apply if you want.
I'm actually very interested in like buildings with bamboo. So I worked in the Karamat project for the library, the Karamat library.
Okay, with Doris and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to do a bridge So I hope I can be a part of that as well.
That bridge you saw at the end is hopefully that bridge that will be built.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
let's see.
yeah.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It'll be the first major bamboo structure in Malaysia.
That will
Yeah.
be
Size.
great.
Yeah,
That will be nice.
We'll see. We'll see.
I
yeah.
hope you guys
Nothing
get
is
in
sure.
touch.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
How can I contact you, by the way? Just through Instagram?
You got just through my email
Email.
that I put down here.
Okay. Okay, sure.
It's in the comments. So just scroll and have a look.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Hope
you.
you guys get in touch, and then hope we get to cross that bridge one day in Malaysia.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, thank you. All right, it's 8:10 right now. Yeah, we would like to start our second session of the sharing. So let's put our hand together and welcome Miss Shean Lee. Ooh. Oh, you're on mute.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Should I share the screen now?
Yes, you might also want to perhaps introduce yourself a bit before the sharing. Oh, Shean is my good friend, my batchmate.
Yes. So Joyee is my uni friends and tailors. So I'm Shean. You can also call me Chloe. I've just graduated from the University of Portsmouth in UK, and recently I've started an architecture design studio with my partner Kenan. And our studio is called the Chloe Plus Studio. So Chloe stands for Ken and Chloe. Plus is reaching out for collaboration. So we focuses on all skills of project. And now we are focusing on a residential design project, some competition with our friend here, Liam. Venice Biennale work for the exhibition that will be coming. That will be held in the upcoming May, and some event backdrop design. So all scales of projects that we try to focus on different scales of project and see what we'll come up with. So before I start everything, I would like to thank Joyee and Clarissa who invited me as one of the speakers. And this will be the first time I'll be sharing my project because due to lockdown, I don't have the chance to share it or even present my project to our tutor. So for today, I would like to share my final year master thesis design project that relates to today's topic, ecology and sustainability, which is called the Petroli Biofarm. This project is mainly focusing on the experiment of self-sustaining ecological system in agriculture. So firstly, I would like to talk about how I came across with this idea of looking into something ecological or researching into this project. It's mainly because I've joined this studio. It's called the Atmospheric Apparatus, AA, that was taught by two Italian students. And one of them is the curator of Venice Biennale 2020 that has been postponed since last August to the upcoming May. So he curated this pavilion, the Italian pavilion, and he thought of having this studio doing things that relates to the topic of his pavilion, which is called the resilient communities. So the entire studio is focusing on how in architecture we could design to enhance the resiliency and reduce the climate change that is happening now. So before going into my final design proposal, I will share some of my research analysis, the research question, design processes, and lastly, my design proposal. Okay. In recent years, climate change has been the biggest challenge in the world. Climate change happened due to the high amount of carbon dioxide emitted. From the diagram, you can see it shows that there are 200,000 metric tons of carbon emitted in Italy, where the site of the proposed design is located. And Italy are actually, they have quite a high number of carbon dioxide emitted as compared to all the others countries below and on the left. So, and evolving climate change means a big change for people who grow, catch, and rear for a living, and everyone else who buys and eats what they produce. From this map, we are looking into how climate change relates to food loss, and it clearly shows that Italy is highlighted in the region where it has the high risk of losing their crop in the year 2050. So this triggers me to research on agricultural waste, and agricultural waste is divided into 4 main categories, which is the crop waste, animal waste, processing waste, and hazardous waste. I've done some research on the global waste composition and found out that the food and green waste holds up the highest percentage, 44% of waste globally. If the waste were not being treated well, it will lead to a high emission of carbon dioxide that leads to climate change, as mentioned before. Therefore, in the following design proposal, I will be looking into how agricultural waste could be potentially transformed into something useful or environmentally friendly in the built environment. So the site that I was working on is in one of the towns in Italy, Tuscany. So Tuscany is located in the west central of Italy and has the highest value crops, for instance, olives, orchards, and vineyards. Tuscany has the most popular area of agritourism in Italy, where 20% of all farmstay business takes place in Tuscany, according to Italy's National Institute of Statistics. So the selected site for this proposed scheme is in Petroli, a small medieval town in Tuscany region. So for international travelers who intended to visit Petroli, will arrive in Pisa and takes approximately 45 minutes drive to the town. So this is an image that I've abstracted from what I researched about Petroli, the chronology of Petroli. So the town of Petroli has the characteristics topography of the medieval villages, narrow streets, steep lanes, and churches in the Pisan Romanesque style. The town has lots of this gigantic statue that was brought up by a waste management organization, which is called the Moderators SPA, that represent a new life that can be born from waste. So Petroli has also received the orange flag for the quality and ecotourism reception. So after some global analysis about the site and looking into the territorial analysis, I have mapped out all the data collected from the research and have overlapped all the data collected into the analysis map and has concluded that Petroli is a small town where most of the activities and facilities were concentrated at the heart of the town and slowly dispersed out to the surrounding area. So looking into the land use of Petroli town, most of the land were being used for agriculture production, and the main economy of Petroli is based on agriculture, for instance, wine and oil, livestock management, and the agritourism sector. As you can see, there are 6 different production around the site, where they have the grapes, wheat, olives, sunflower, corn, and ham, which is located further out from the town. So Tuscany is not only well known for its landscape, historical and artistic beauties, but also known as the land of robots. They have tested out with this technology, which is called the dust bot, where it goes around the neighborhood to collect all the waste. As you can see from this image, this is the map of the road where of the dust bot collection point. So they have also come up with some robots for agriculture and food production. So in agriculture and food production, the robots were used to automate the entire process from the raw to the end of the products. For instance, from grain to flour to pasta, or from fruits to beverages. The robots were also used for precision farming, where they were used to automate cleaning of barns, harvest, and groom. These robots has been used in other biofarms around the town. So going into the micro site of the site that I've chosen for my design proposal. So as you can see from the map, the one that was highlighted in red is basically the site that I work on for my design proposal. The big piece of land is owned by the Waste Management Organization, the SPA. So they are currently looking to propose new activities around this agricultural land, which will be explained shortly in a few slides. So the proposed site for my main program is located, right in between of the city center of Petroli and the agricultural land, where visitors can access the site from the city center to the main proposed site through within walking distance. So moving into the research questions of my project. I've once thought that organic production nowadays is getting more and more expensive, but Italians still willing to spend for the good quality products as they seek for fresh and organic food production. In that case, I've questioned myself if I could research on how agricultural production could contribute to strengthen the organic food production, and if agricultural waste can be transformed into biomaterials as a new construction materials in future. So with that, I've done a small experiment with some agricultural production, for instance, grapes and cornstarch, to test if they could transform into a new potential construction materials that could benefit the environment. So this experiment is done with the inspiration of the Hi-Fi Tower, where it is an organic compostable tower designed by a Brooklyn-based design practice, which is called The Living. So in this project, the entire design of the tower was constructed by organic and biodegradable bricks that were made up of agricultural waste like corn stalks and mycelium. So this innovative technology, or the usage of agricultural byproducts, were quite often being used in the food and products packaging. However, the Hi-Fi Tower is considered as the first large-scale structure to use this innovative, which is the mushroom brick design. So apart from the Hi-Fi Tower, I also got inspired by this growing pavilion. This is the pavilion. This pavilion is a temporary event space at Dutch Design Week, and is made entirely from mushroom mycelium, which is a bio-based material. So besides, all the panels were being supported by the timber frames. The idea of this growing pavilion started from the mushroom, so slowly they will grow bigger to cover up the facade of this pavilion. So everything of this pavilion is built from plants and trees of all agricultural waste. So this two project has adopted the principle of cradle to cradle, where the tower was constructed by organic materials which can be composted when it reaches the ends of its life, and when the dismantled product could not be reused. So the composite substances will then return to the nature as organic nutrients, and this process is what is called closing the loop of resources. So this is the aim and objective of my design proposal. Looking into the aim and objective of this proposed scheme, the aim is to investigate how agricultural production could contribute, as what mentioned before. So to further investigate on my research question, I think that understanding the usage loop of agricultural production is essential. So the diagram is an illustration of the use of agricultural production in a circular economy. So the diagram explains how agricultural production can be used in 3 different loops. And the explanation goes from the outermost initial loop gradually into the innermost, where it combines the idea of reuse, reduce, and closed loop. So the initial loop, which is the first loop, is the most basic cycle of how a resources were being produced to the end of its life. Then the second loop will be the additional loop, where the residue of from the harvest were being processed into biomaterials production and being used for construction materials, degradable and sent back to the nature. So the lastly will be the potential loop that I would like to propose, which is using the residue that processes into biomaterials production, and will be retrofitting with existing building with that biomaterials. So this will reduce the amount of new construction being built to our built environment and degradable and turns it back to the nature. So this is the strategic brief that produced from all the data collected. Like the amount of inhabitants is decreasing drastically, but there is still a continuous supply of agricultural production that may lead to the high value of the land and the cost of it. So I decided to propose a biofarm where it experiment of self-sustaining ecological system in agriculture. So this design proposal is about designing a new system of cultivation and production where it integrates with the agricultural robots as a technology to monitor the agricultural production and a biomaterials research lab for the experiments to take place. Meanwhile, the proposal is about keeping the local activities but regenerate it by adding in new activities which help to seek solutions that tackle the global challenges, which is the climate change. So in this proposed scheme, there are a few design intentions that will be explained in this coming slide. So in this proposed scheme, the program that was proposed was designed in a clustered form in relation to the existing site where buildings of different functions found on site were in a cluster way surround the agricultural land, as you can see, those highlighted in yellow. So there are these existing buildings where they have the church and event spaces for wedding reception. So I've thought of like, why not I propose 5 different developments around this site where I have the main building, some new or modern cultivation technology, a wine production center, fertilizer production center, as well as the olive production center. So the other intention of the development is each point of the different functions are sustaining one another, and each point of different functions are sustaining itself by having a biogas plant that generates energy from collected agricultural waste to sustain the entire system and have great water collection area and water storage that could supply water to all modules of the system. So lastly, the design were intended to challenge the frame of Tuscan landscape with new contemporary production or industrial design by overlapping the historical Tuscan landscape, nature, and architecture. So going into the design processes, which will be, it shows how I've come up with the final product of the design. So I've started off with these 3 basic form, where it is the traditional, the radical, as well as the in-between, or vice versa. And I've thought of like further develop the radical form, where it will be formed by a few modular pods vertically. And lastly, it drives me into having all different functions in a modular system and go horizontally instead of vertically because of the big piece of the land, agricultural land. So going into the design proposal. So this is the program mapping of the 5 different points of function. And today I will be focusing on the first phase where I have the information center, cafe, farmers market, fish pond, seasonal garden, as well as the research lab for the experiment to take place. So the development for this phase is formed by these 3 main programs, which is the biogas and biomaterials production area, social spaces, as well as infrastructures and amenities. So from this map, you can see that how this first phase of development sits nicely in between of the city center of Petroli and the agricultural land. And this is from this ground floor plan, it shows that this development is basically designed in a modular system where each module of different activities is sustaining one another that will be explained shortly. And with other programs like social spaces, public, private, and semi-public spaces. There will be water sources area, green space, and food production area that forms the development. So this is the development. This section shows the development is sitting nicely in the Tuscan landscape with some underground programs like the vertical indoor farming. So the entire, I'm going to explaining all these modules that form the first phase of the development. So this, there will be 9 different modules of different functions that was categorized into 3 different categories, which is the community, waste research and production area, as well as the amenities. And so this is the first module where I have the main stage, information desk for agritourism visitors, farmers market, as well as cafes. So in Italy, they have this culture of watching performance in the theater or an outdoor amphitheater. So with this existing, there is an existing amphitheater, which is called Amphitheater Fonte Mazzola, located on the site, where I have included this as part of the program to act as a welcoming space for visitors to explore. So with the beauties of the historical Tuscan landscape and the new contemporary production design of my project, it will act as the background of the performance design, performance stage. So there are a few plans and sections to show the first module. So I will further explain the indoor vertical farm that I have underground. So as this proposed scheme is to test how agricultural production could contribute to strengthen the organic food production. So indoor vertical farming is proposed to comply in this development as part of the design. So this vertical farming allows to grow leafy greens without sunlight or soil. And it also benefits the environment than traditional agriculture, as it requires 95% less water, grows in half of the time of traditional crops, and doesn't deplete the soil, and can be grown year-round and served locally, even during winter. So with this, it will continuously sustain the local community with food source. So moving into the second module, which is the seasonal garden, it will act the same as the vertical indoor farming, but the seasonal garden is designed to produce a wide range of food production, fruits and vegetables for home consumption, cafes and markets, and to ensure a year-round yield. So there is also fish ponds and communal spaces where they produce a wide range of protein sources to the users or visitors that visited this development or this space. So there's also biogas and agricultural waste tipping area, where they work in a way that agricultural residues were collected, sorted, processed, and turns into a biogas, where excess energy were used to supply heat and electricity for the other modules. So with this continuous process, it will eventually benefit the environment, and it will also ensure that the biofarm is self-sustainable. So this continuous process is what we call the circular economy. So there's also biomaterial storage area where all the raw materials are being stored and being used for experimental purposes. Research labs and offices for the experiment to take place. Residential units and community garden where for the users, the workers who work in this the office or even this production center to stay. So the residential unit is also being designed in a way that comply with the PV glasses. So the PV panels works in a way that they distribute the surplus energy to other modules, and meanwhile they provide energy to the residential part. So these are a few plans and sections of the residential units, and as you can see, the residential units are designed in pots, which will be grown in the future. And there's also infrastructure facilities like the bicycle parking, as well as the grey water collection area and water storage tank. So the entire development of my design proposal is as a self-sustaining development, where all the waste were being circulated, the water, the food, as well as the energy are being circulated to self-sustain each module of different function. So these are a few perspectives of the Petra Lee biofarm. And I would like to conclude that this is a project that focuses on experimenting a self-sustaining ecological system in agriculture, and meanwhile testing out different types of bio-based materials for future construction use. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
I thought that is your physical model.
No.
Is that for sale?
No, yeah, just mine.
Looks like your modules on plan.
Yeah, that looks like. Wow. There's a lot of research going on. Clarissa, you have a question, is it? You want to go first?
Does anyone else have questions before me?
I think we're all still like digesting.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can go on and describe
There's
a little bit first.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, I actually have one question, if you don't mind, before you start.
Go for it.
I was wondering, like, Tashin, how there's a very detailed research, and then I really like the entire closed loop self-sustainable system thing. And I'm wondering, like, how long was this research, and then actually what was the feedback from your lecturers and tutors after the presentation?
This is basically we took at least 1 year from the research, from the site analysis to the design. So half year for the site analysis and even the strategic brief, to come with the strategic brief, then another half year for the design proposal.
I see. So what was the feedback? But you mentioned earlier that there wasn't a presentation to your tutor, is it?
Yes. So basically, our design proposal, we work closely with our tutor.
Okay.
Through a video call. So we don't have a physical discussion with our tutor, as well as a presentation.
But at the end of the day, there is still a presentation, like just virtually.
Yeah, no, we don't have a presentation virtually with our tutor, but an interview with another a moderator. So what the feedback that I got was how my project relates to the studio topic, which is the atmospheric apparatus.
Sorry.
So the only feedback that I got is how my project is going to how it relates from my project to the topic of the studio I've joined, which is the atmospheric apparatus. So whatever we've done is basically based on the global changes, which is the climate change. And so atmospheric apparatus, for me, I define it as a solution that could cure the current challenges or the issues that the world is happening now.
I see. Great. Yeah, Clarissa, back to you.
Thank you. Oh, no. Thank you for your presentation, Tashin. It's really great. I guess my question is about how you've learned about existing systems of farming or agricultural practice within the context of your site. Because it seems like this particular scheme that you've created as you said, it's self-sustaining, which I'm also very interested to hear about your definition and examination about what that is. Don't think anything is truly self-sustaining. And I think what I'm interested in is to hear about what you learn about your context in Tuscany, as well as that particular place of Petroli, and because it seems that it can also fit anywhere other than the amphitheater.
Yeah, what is the reason why we have come up with, I mean, like most of the students that have chosen the site in Petroli, we work almost the same as a production center in experimenting different types of materials. Like I've researching on agriculture waste, so the others are actually researching on plastic waste. The reason why we've come up with the production center in Petroli, or the particular site of Petroli, is because there is actually an existing dump site around the area. So many researcher, or even many researcher is actually doing things like doing experiments on waste, how waste can be transformed into different kind of materials that could sustain the built environment. And so this is why we've come up with a production center of agriculture waste. Do I answer your question?
Kind of. I guess it's you're taking it almost as a global scale of thinking about agricultural waste in general, but not necessarily specific to Tuscany, is it?
But earlier you have a macro site map, I remember, and then you were locationing all these modules at different existing beside the existing building, right?
Yeah, but for this project, because due to the time consumption, I only managed to develop the main phase, where the others are not really being done. But that's the initial idea of doing it to propose.
All right.
That's cool. Okay.
Anyone else have any questions?
I have.
Go.
The building itself, I mean, it's a bit, I don't know whether related, it's a bit sidetracked maybe. Like the building itself, so you're using concrete or industrial material to build the building. Do you think it's a possible way to also use the biomass as the building construction material to do the building as well?
So during the process of designing my project, I've also thought of using the biomaterials to be part of the building. But as this is, I did not experiment it thoroughly because of the time. So I just used that as part of the building, but not the entire construction of the design.
I see. So the main point will be the cycle that you mentioned earlier, the entire biomass. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Yep, thank you. I don't have any more questions on my side. Do I want to pick names right now?
Oh, you're very good at it.
No, I feel very bad. Nicholas, can I go first?
I got no question. Good work.
Yeah, I mean, this project, by the way, for everyone's information, is nominated for Riva Part 2 Silver Medal. So, what do you actually analyze what they are looking into when you submitted for this award?
I did not submit it. It was nominated by the University
School.
of yeah.
Oh,
the uni nominates always.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
But did you say this is also being displayed? Will be displayed at the Biennale?
Yes.
In the Italian, because the studio was run because of that as well, right?
Yeah.
Will there be more like information that will be in the Biennale?
Yeah, interesting.
Apart from what you've shown?
Will there be more information? Sorry, can I know?
Will there be more like, I don't know, like apart from what you presented?
Like,
I don't know if you edited.
expand your project or something?
No, we will have like a few projects being will be published in the pavilion, but not more than what I've presented.
I see.
This is the Italian pavilion, or?
Yeah, it's the Italian pavilion because one of our tutor is the curator.
Oh, right.
It will
okay.
probably be the one at the Giardini. Oh, sorry, not the Giardini. The
Arsenale.
Arsenale,
LA,
correct. Yeah. Great. Queenie has a question about your design language. Like, how did you develop that particular formal language? And there wasn't really much about material, like what choice of material really in your presentation, other than like what Joyee mentioned, perhaps like more industrialized material choices, right? So perhaps that would be interesting to hear as well.
How do I come up with the circular and curvilinear design language?
Correct.
Basically, wait, let me, because I don't really,
Let me help Chao Xiao no, this was it like you need, how to say, that's also bring to my, I think related to the question that I'm actually thinking right here, because in a way, do you see there's a, how do I put it? Because you're actually designing a system. You're focusing much more on the system and the building program than the building articulation itself. So does it change your perception towards architecture?
it does in a way that I would like to do it more on research.
Did you, if I may ask also, like, did you look at like other precedents? I don't know if you covered that in the...
Yeah, I did not cover it in my presentation, but
right.
the hi-fi is just how I research it on how I design it based on to create the intention of turning materials, turning waste into biomaterials. But
yeah,
in terms of the design, I've researched on so referring to Camilla Tan's design of the soil city. So okay, so getting back to Queenie's question, the reason why I come up with the curvilinear design is basically because of the arch. Because in Italy they have most of the building they actually come up with the Roman arch, and so this is the reason why I brought it. I tried to bring in a historical Roman arch into the contemporary design or industrial light design.
Yeah, I guess I'm also like curious about the, like Joyee mentioned, the system part of it and the ecology part of it, kind of the commune of like who's gonna stay there, who's gonna be doing what things. I think you mentioned there was residential, and also kind of its relation to the nearby village or town. You're producing food, and then I guess the question is like, for who? What are you producing? Yeah, and I, like one of the examples that I thought of was Arcosanti, where it's not really like on food production, and I'm not sure if you looked at that, Arcosanti. So it's like an experimental town in the US, and it does function a bit like a commune, where people come in and it's like a village, and you don't have to work.
One in New Mexico?
Yeah, and they produce bells as souvenirs. Yeah.
Arizona one? Wait.
No.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think it's in...
It's like the hippie.
Yeah, the hippie commune.
Is it Earthship?
It's Arizona. It's Arizona.
Arizona.
I don't think it's an Earthship.
Okay.
It's different from the Earthship one.
Sorry. I like the Earthship one too.
The Earthship one, I think, is in New Mexico. Sorry.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. No, it was really interesting. And I think like this idea of the ecology, like for me, it interests me of like who's gonna be there.
Exactly.
Beyond the building and like the functions, it's like who's gonna stay there, and then also like its relation to like the nearby town.
I guess that was also linked back to my original question, because I was also very interested if you learn about the existing kind of systems of agriculture and like what kind of things are you going to plant there, because it seems like you put vertical farming as if it solves everything.
It could be more localized in the matter, right?
I was wondering if you have any more
Okay.
local ideas or
Yeah,
situated in the sorry, Nick.
No, I was gonna ask Mars the same thing. I don't know if I missed it. Like, why specifically Pacioli?
Yeah.
So basically, we were given 3 sites to select for our design proposal. So one is the Petroli, another one is Snow Mountain, and Dolomite, and last one will be the Venice. Will be Venice. So 3 different approach of doing things that could help the global issue. So I've chosen Petroli. So that's the reason why.
It is in Petroli.
And getting back to Haziq and Clarissa question, so who is the user that will be living around the site will be the local communities, because as I probably missed out that the local inhabitants, they have actually decreasing drastically from years to years, but there are still like local communities like those elderlies who stay around doing all the agriculture productions and stuff to produce like those grapes and for wine. And also they have this agritourism facilities or services for visitors to that travels to Petroli. So the main user that I target will be the local communities, so they can start out with using their agricultural productions from their traditional way of planting and to turning all the residuals or the waste into something new that could probably be a pilot project to start out with something different and propose to the to every part of the world.
I also was wondering, like, when you say like because Petroli is a hilltop town, and a lot of hilltop towns in Italy is actually like what you say, age is decreasing, young is moving out. I wonder also perhaps the thing that you're building or the thing that you're developing can actually also attract the young to come back to the hilltop town, which is what they're desperately asking a lot of people, because if not, this hilltop town will become ghost town eventually.
So that is also being part of the intention of bringing people in back to Petroli, apart from visitors or travelers who just visited like once to that country or even the town.
So you combine with tourism, combine with the engagement.
Because agritourism is still their main economy base.
Yeah.
So to create something new or something interesting.
But yeah, now that I'm looking at the context of the town, I think your little tower sort of represents, kind of have that similarity of the existing tower. There's one tower in the town. I thought maybe you can.
Oh yeah, is it the church, the bell?
Yeah.
That doesn't relate to that, but the tower that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know. I thought, contextually, I can sort of see some connections in the sections in the diagram that you show.
Oh. One more thing is the robot. You don't have robot there.
Yeah.
The robot very cute.
Where is it?
Yeah, that's what robot around the neighborhood. So they have tested out like to go around the neighborhood to collect all the waste, and everyone quite satisfied with it. So I think they're actually producing more robots to do a lot of like waste collection.
Labor intensive work. Okay.
Probably because of the inhabitants is getting lesser and lesser, so they need more like advanced technology.
No more civic workers.
So cute, but also so sad.
I know, right?
Haziq, do you think the robot can work in Kedah or like can work in somewhere in Perak?
So sad.
And why?
The road not flat enough.
You guys get a chance to go to Joyee?
Unfortunately not, because no, we have actually booked our ticket, but the outbreak, because of the outbreak. So the outbreak started in March, and that's the time that we have planned to go.
If only you went right before and then you got quarantined over there and then you'd be there for 1 year.
Oh my god.
That would be so nice,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Get to build a prototype.
Yeah, you can actually build.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
we
be
have
so
actually
nice.
planned to interview all the local communities, but because of the
Oh.
so we
Okay.
can't.
Yeah.
It's
So did you
okay.
manage to even like email or talk to anyone from there, like
Oh
virtual?
yeah.
No, but our tutor, because he stays in petrol leave since he's young.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Oh, so your
Yeah.
tutor
How-
is your user.
Yeah, it is a user. Do you want to retire here?
Free client no? It's, how old is your tutor?
40,
I mean, like roughly.
40 to 50, I think.
Oh, still
I don't know,
quite
because
young
of
lah.
his
40 to
look.
50. That's a quite
Still
big
quite young lah.
Yeah.
Maybe can ask him or her, do you want to move back after I build this?
Correct.
Yeah,
And then that-
probably that could be the. I could ask him when I meet him.
Oh, sounds nice. Okay.
Clarissa, you want to conclude the session?
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you,
Shean.
Shean.
Well, we don't have Eugene here with us, but I hope everyone really enjoyed the conversation, especially now that we have a kind of more expanded definition and expanded knowledge from the technicalities of bamboo all the way to kind of earthly or terraforming kind of ideologies about farming systems and earth systems that we can implement within our kind of ideas of building. And it's how can architecture or even design begin to tap into those kind of systems and pre-existing kind of larger things that sometimes we feel very useless against, but then now we can kind of do a little bit by little bit. And yeah, I think that's it. Are there any last comments? If not, then we'll just close out the session.
Yeah.
Not really?
No.
Okay. Well, you watch out for our next one that should be coming within the end of April. And it will be, I'm just going to say for now, the topic will be about reimagining future.
It'll be on 24 April, guys.
Yes. So yeah, take note of that. And then I think that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Shean, again for sharing.
Thanks for inviting me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye. Take
Bye,
care.
Leah. Are you
Bye.
working?
you.
Oh, hi, Leah. I forgot to talk to you.
Hey,
What's
how
up?
are you guys?
Like,
Good?
Are you in your office?
No, I'm at home.
Oh, are you
home
working?
working? He looks like he's working,
Mm.
so busy.
Depends on how you define work.